James, we had a strong performance in the 22 financial year. Give us your overall impressions.
Jaco, I guess the first, when you have a strong performance, it's a reflection of the support from our clients, and really a big thank you to our client base for trusting us as their banking partner. Firstly, look, the results are really good. Strong uptick in PBT, in return on equity, so very pleasing to see. What's also nice to see is the growth in advances. That's up 18%. So lending to our clients has increased. We've actually new business written or new lending and refinancings of 126 billion rand this year, which I think reflects the confidence of our clients, the growing confidence in the particularly South African economy, but also some of that was more widely in the rest of Africa. And maybe some of that confidence is reflecting in what we're seeing in the event market. For example, M&A with the Heineken Distell deal, the Taylor Maritime deal to Grindrod Shipping. These are deals that signal the confidence of international investors in South Africa, and those are examples where RMB has played an instrumental role, and there are others that are similar. So, yeah, we're seeing more confidence. We're very proud, Jaco, of our ESG performance this year. We set ourselves a bold target. We wanted to facilitate ESG-related deals of 26 billion rand in our first year of that target, and of 25 billion, and we made it at 26 billion. So we're delighted to achieve that. We are seeing also a strong improvement in the quality of our loan book. So we were able to reverse provisions, which I guess helped our results. And so when you pull all of this together, the truth of it is that we can go into 23 really feeling quite confident about the quality of the market, South Africa particularly, but the quality of RMB and its business. Maybe, Jaco, I can turn the tables a bit. You're closer to the numbers. Can I ask you share some of the headline detail?
Yeah. James, so PBT was up 17%, but I think the important thing here is 19% up on the level that we were in 2019 pre-pandemic. So that's a very good result. ROE of 22.1%, so significantly up from last year, and I think both those metrics are fantastic in the current environment. As you mentioned, very good growth in advances. It was back-ended in the financial year, so we're really going to see the benefit coming out in the next financial year from an NII perspective. Yeah.
Cool, and maybe if you can cover some of the detailed underlying business unit performances across RMB.
Yeah, I'd happy to do so. Starting with private equity, actually, they had a fantastic year this year. Profit up 72%, but I think the important thing, annuity income up 32%. We had the opportunity to invest in new businesses, so close to 1 billion rand invested in the current financial year, and unrealized profit up 32%. That's a fantastic performance.
Yeah, very good.
I think secondly, banking division up 20% in the current financial year, another exceptional performance. If you unpack that, strong lending growth, and that really provided opportunity for structuring commitment fees coming through in the current financial year. So the fee income side of the business, very good. As you mentioned, the benefit of the unwind of ECL or credit provisions in the current year further bolstered the results. If we then turn to markets, up 11% in the current financial year, that is a very strong performance given the macro environment and also coming off a 28% growth in the prior financial year. If you think about where it came from, equities, FX, and commodities, given the run in commodities and the FX volatility that we saw in the current financial year, really supported flow trading and client flows into that business. So that was really a very good result that came through for us. James, I think if we then turn to Ashburton, your thoughts about their performance?
Yeah, so Jaco, Ashburton are now a profitable business. It's been in the broader stable, aligned with RMB now for a little while, and we're seeing the real benefits of much tighter integration with our corporate and investment banking teams. And that's translating into inflows into all of our funds. And, I guess as we look forward, we think that there's quite a lot of runway now for this business, for the group.
James, if we think about broader Africa, we've historically said that's going to be one of our growth engines. They had a slightly softer performance in the current year, but what are your thoughts about how they're positioned?
I think the softness of the year really is just a reflection of some of the base provisions. Last year, we reversed some big oil and gas provisions. So actually, when you look at the underlying performance of the business, actually, we're seeing strong customer growth. We're seeing good performances across the board. Zambia, probably a particular call out. Botswana, both really strong performances in the current year. More muted in Nigeria, some real structural issues in that economy, oil production, FX availability, so a little bit more muted. But on balance, I do believe, Jaco, that this is a portfolio that will continue to drive growth for our group.
Agreed. James, then maybe turning to the future a little bit. I mean, we've seen an uptick, obviously, in corporate activity in South Africa coming through in the second half of the year, but the international environment is sticky. So what are your thoughts about kind of how we look into the 23 financial year and what the opportunities are?
Sure. It's always hard with a crystal ball. I think, firstly, we do believe that the signs of progress on the reform agenda in South Africa are starting to be much more encouraging. And so we've seen the uptick in lending, as you mentioned. That's really been from corporate South Africa. But I think with some of the infrastructure rollout that's going to start happening, power firstly, but in future in water and rail, I think it gives us quite a long runway where banks can play a critical role in supporting this, and it'll flow through in our numbers. When it comes to confidence, that will in turn transmit into confidence into the country. And I do think we will continue to see this theme of global investors showing more interest in South Africa, which is positive. And this theme of ESG, I touched on it. We've met our first year targets of 25 billion. We've set ourselves quite a bold ambition of 35 billion in the next financial year. But we believe that with this growing focus on these three topics, environment, social governance, that this is something our clients really are focused on. And so it's a very much a long-term growth theme. So when we add all of this together, it's hard to know. There's probably a mild recession coming in Europe and the UK. US still under question. So anything can happen to change at the moment. But we are at least confident that we are able to kind of keep the momentum that we've built in 2022.